Hello, everybody. Sorry, I knew you were going to do it, so I wanted to do it. Okay, you go. Sorry, that's just me.
No, your
turn.
Your turn.
Okay. I knew you were going to do it. Okay. And today we will be discussing Iron Flame, Happy Iron Flame Week by Rebecca Yarros. However, we are going to be splitting this episode into two parts, just like the book. So we'll be discussing part 1 and part 2, and this will be part 1.
Yes. And I think it's been over... Has it been over a week now? No? Oh, my I don't know what day it is.
It's been 4 days.
It's only
been
4 days. Oh my god. Yeah. It's felt like it's been over a week. Or maybe that's just me.
For us on Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. Because I pre-ordered it and it was on my Kindle. Are you okay? What are you looking at?
Ghosts.
I'm not surprised.
Alright. I will kick us off with the Goodreads description. Our favourite. Alright. Oh, already has a solid 4.58 stars.
Not bad for 5 days, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, that's out of 48,855 ratings and 9,000 reviews. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot. In 4 or 5 days.
Mm-hmm. Alright. The first year is when some of us lose our lives. The second year is when the rest of us lose our humanity. Xaden Ryerson. Everyone expected Violet Sorrengail to die during her first year at Basgiath War College, Violet included. But Threshing was only the first impossible test meant to weed out the weak-willed, the unworthy, and the unlucky. Now the real training begins, and Violet's already wondering how she'll get through. It's not just that it's grueling and maliciously brutal, or even that it's designed to stretch the writer's capacity for pain beyond endurance. It's the new vice commandant, who's made it his personal mission to teach Violet exactly how powerless she is, unless she betrays the man she loves. Although Violet's body might be weaker and frailer than everyone else's, she still has her wits, and a will of iron. And leadership is forgetting the most important lesson Basgiath has taught her. Dragon riders make their own rules. But a determination to survive won't be enough this year, because Violet knows the real secret hidden for centuries at Basgiath War College, and nothing, not even dragon fire, may be enough to save them in the end.
Thoughts and emotions, Kenzie?
No, I want you to do yours first. Just because, sorry, I'm scared that I'm going to say something that will spoil something for you.
Okay.
Because you haven't finished it yet. Okay, also everyone, I finished the book, but Claire's only finished part 1. So.
Alright, my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Firstly, what the fuck? Secondly, what the fuck? No, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to say about it. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a bit like slow-paced-ish the first part. Very interesting route we are taking. Because once in these sorts of either books, other forms of media, anytime there's this revolution or a secret revolution, once you have the welcome to the revolution or rebellion speech, boom, instant traitors, they're part of the rebellion, we get that whole aspect. So it's very interesting how, Violet's learnt what she's learnt so far, and then now she's just thrust back into school life, essentially, and having to keep this secret or try and be on the down low while Xaden does his thing. I just found that incredibly, intriguing and interesting, because, I just expected, they're against the college now, and they're against leadership. Now this is where, hell is going to break loose, but no, that's going to probably come in part 2. Enjoying it, slow-paced. Again, I already said this to Kenzie, it just got to a point where I just checked my percentage of where I'm at, and I'm it was over, 25 chapters, and it's I'm still at 35%, bro. What's going on? There's just so much. Enjoying the twists and turns, interesting. Enjoying it so far. Can't wait to smash out part 2.
This was me as well when I had read, same, 25. Well, I was at chapter 25. Infamous chapter 25.
I keep seeing a TikTok about that and I've forgotten what happened, so I quickly reread it while you were setting up, and
Anyway, and I was only 35% of the way through, and I was what? There had already been so much going on. So, my thoughts, feelings, emotions are screaming, crying, throwing up. All over the place. I'm not, no spoilies, but I'm not as devastated at the end as a lot of people are, so I can process it and work through it. It's fine.
As in the very end of the book? Do you want me to remind you where part 1 ends so you don't get confused?
I remember it is right after they've saved her from the interrogation.
Yeah, and they've given pretty much the rest of the cadets and everyone a choice whether to join the rebellion, revolution, whatever.
So just as a whole. So part 1, thoughts, feelings, emotions. I enjoy it. I enjoy the pacing because, yeah, same as you, usually they have welcome to the revolution, bam, 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 action, 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 fighting. But it's like, no, I want more of the world, because this is only book 2. So it's like, I want more of the world building. I want the new characters. I want the lore. I want some mundane activity. But yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good balance of all of those things. Okay, how do we feel about... Because a lot of people speculated due to the end of the first book about with the Xaden point of view. How did you feel about, like, obviously coming this far and not having that split POV? How do we feel about that?
I'm fine with it because it is Violet's story. Well, technically it's Jasinia's retelling of the story.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's true.
And Jasinia was just with Violet, so that makes sense. I thought that it would have gone into dual POV just because of the literal physical distance between Xaden and Violet in this book. So I thought that, yeah, we'd have her during the week and then him during the week or whatever, and a little bit of crossover. But I'm fine without having the dual POV. The dual POV might come further on, like consistent dual POV. But that is fine. Because,
yeah, I feel like, there was a lot of controversy or... people were expecting that and they may be a little bit disappointed. And of course, everyone is so invested in these two characters and their love story, and they hate the fact that they're so separated in such a way. Yeah, I really enjoyed that it is focusing just on Violet, because it feels like we're just living through her first year again, except with the new, with obviously new knowledge and intentions in regards to knowing about this revolution. And it's like we get to see how she handles having to hide this knowledge as well, and having to hide all the knowledge from her friends, and seeing what lengths she would go to in order to preserve her knowledge and secrets, and like Xaden in general. Whereas if it was a dual point of view, like we get the sense with Xaden, he's willing to kill first, ask questions later. Like we know his motivations and that he'll do whatever it takes to protect the revolution. I'm just going to keep calling it the rebellion, the revolution, whatever the defense is. So yeah, no, it's interesting to see, Violet being thrusted into that position. And conversely, it's very funnily hypocritical that she's angry at Xaden for holding all these secrets, and she's doing the exact same thing to her squad. But she admits it later on, which is great. But yeah, it was just something that, so frustrating to me as I was reading, because it's like Rhiannon's just asking what's going on, and she's like, I can't tell you.
And I have a point about that as well. I was really worried about the friendship between Rhiannon, as the audiobook says, Rhiannon and Violet. Just because of this little spiel of, if you can't keep your secrets, keep your distance, from Xaden. Yeah. I'm glad, she told them, and they were on board straight away, because of course they were going to be. But also, I wish that she had told them a little bit sooner, because I didn't like this narrative that Violet couldn't trust them. And I felt like Violet should know her friends more, that she should know that she would be able to trust them.
Sure, I mean, they all survived first year together. If she didn't really trust them, they wouldn't be friends, or as close as they are.
So I've seen a lot of, discourse, or criticism around the dialogue of the book, because people are like, oh, Violet just says weird things and blah, blah, blah. And then I always come back to this. We need to remember that Violet is 21. Of course, she's going to have a Gen Z language.
Oh, okay, that's for sure. I was just wondering where you were going with
and
this.
And if you are a 35-year-old reading this, then you are going to experience a barrier. And that is fine. So then I've seen, though, that people are saying it's because that this book was rushed out, because, the first one came out in April, and now we've already got this one, and now she hasn't even started writing the third one. However, I don't know when she started writing this, but for all we know, she could have had the first 2 written already. And then when she went to the publishers, she's like, hey, I've got 2 books. It's probably going to be a multiple book series. Here's the first 2. What do you think? And the publishers determined when to publish it. Also, because of the popularity of the first one, then the publishers could have also rushed her to bring out the second one. So let's not blame Rebecca Yarros for everything. We know she's butchered the language, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure authors, when approaching publishers, some may have already, have multiple books written, and then by the time the first book comes out, then the second and third are in progress or editing at whatever stage they're at.
And then, although there has been also a lot of stuff about the printing, because there's been lots and lots and lots of printing errors.
Oh, yeah.
And even on your Kindle, you were showing me that there's an error of the Kindle, the e-version, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, I was like, I thought I was going crazy because I read it and then, so yeah, at the bottom of the Kindle there was, like 2 or 3 sentences. And then I turned the page and then those 2 or 3 sentences were the exact same up top. And I swear, like, it has nothing to do with my screen size or text size or anything, because that adjusts with the format, the Kindle format anyway. And so yeah, I was just absolutely bewildered. I don't think I've seen any other mistakes that have jumped out at me yet, but that was the most notable one, and I felt
I know,
like an
saying
idiot.
to you that there was quite a few times when I had to reread a passage, and usually, like, I skim, and then sometimes I have to go back, but this was consistently I had to reread things. So now I'm like, am I dumb, or was it just because of, like, printing error, ebook errors, and it was just the way that it was formatted and laid out that it didn't make sense, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it was so devastating. Kenzie was meant to pick up the special edition books on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever, and she's like, nope, come back another time.
Okay, no, this is my issue. Okay, so, not my issue, this is what happened. So, I ordered the special editions of Fourth Wing, and they were delayed because of printing errors in those. Yeah, as well.
It came out in April.
Because these are the special editions, so they they've gone back to the press, they're reprinting them, but the reprint has fucked up, so they have to reprint the reprint. Anyway.
Okay, right.
Sorry, but then I also ordered the special edition of Iron Flame, and this was my mistake because I thought that they would all just come out on the same day, right? No, when I called them back, I was like, oh, I know there's an error with Fourth Wing, but I'm just wanting to check on Iron Flame, and they're like, yeah, they're not due until December 12th. It's always been due December 12th. So I'm just a big dum-dum, but also, like, that irks me.
So it's just the Fourth Wing
that's reprinted, yeah.
The reprinting errors. Okay, cool. Because I was under the impression it was Iron Flame, and I'm like, what the fuck? But no, that's okay. You're just excited, and you were just, I don't know.
I was waiting for my text message.
Book day. Yeah, and you were twiddling your thumbs.
I remember with It Starts With Us, I went in at 9 a.m. I was like, I want my book. And they're like, they haven't been delivered to the store yet. Yeah. And I was like, come on. Like, you should have them the day before.
But remember, Australia is a day ahead. So does
they came in at like 10 o'clock. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So you just had to wait an hour. It's essentially a book premiere day, so you expect it to be fully stocked and ready just in case there's an influx of people who want to buy it on release day.
Especially the people that have been to the midnight release. It's like, okay, well, obviously you have them in store. Like,
yeah. Imagine if this happened with like a gaming store situation, because like they all have their games all stacked and everything ready to go. The men would cause a fucking riot if that was the case, but just because it's books. Anyway, we're way off topic. It sucks that we're going through reprints. It's also kind of funny. I don't know. Shit happens. What can you do? Printer's going to print or not work.
Also heard there's talks on the line about the pacing of the first half of the book.
Yep.
Your thoughts first.
It just reminded me a lot of the first book in terms of it is going through a school curricula with the, obviously, Violet transporting back and forth to Xaden, etc., etc. I thought initially it was quite slow because obviously, like,
they're info dumping straight away.
Info dumping, but because it's strictly Violet's point of view, we're living through her life. She's going through a second year school curricula, so therefore we have to as well. And yeah, we're also learning new things about, what second years go through. But yeah, it did still feel like it took forever. As I said, I got to like over chapter 25, 26, 27, 28, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like at 40%. I'm like, when are we going to get to the juice? But I think it was still kind of fine because you still, I don't know. I think I'm indifferent. I think it's fine. Maybe on the little slower side. That's just me.
Okay. Same. Because I knew that obviously shit was going to hit the fan in the second part. As soon as I saw that it was 2 parts, I was like, okay. But I liked, the first half because we're info dumping a lot, which is fine because there's been a while since the first one came out and a lot of people don't do the reread.
Hello, it's me. my brain do not brain.
And I think Rebecca did a great job of kind of navigating this seeing each other 7 days sort of scenario, whereas during the week it was kind of like a fade to black. And then we just kind of got like little snippets of like here and there of stuff happening, which was good. But then I also thought it was really refreshing to see Violet and crew watching the first years
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
it's like
their...
a different perspective. And then especially, I think there's one point as well where Imogen is talking to Violet about something or whatever, and then she's like, yeah, because I didn't like you in first year. Or then there's a lot of like this recurring motif of, until Threshing, don't bother learning their names or whatever. Like, they're just another name on the death row. And yeah. So it's like, until they have their dragon, they're not a rider. So, and they could die at any moment. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's going through... Yeah, the second year, it truly is like the desensitization process / potential dehumanization process. What I loved about Violet's character throughout the first half and going through second year life is that she's constantly reminding herself, like, I don't want to know their names, I don't want to know their story, I don't want to be friends. And yeah, it's truly trying to survive second year. And yeah, and she doesn't care who hates her and everything like that, because obviously she's trying to look out for Sloane, who we learn is Liam's younger sister. And that was interesting. I didn't expect Sloane to hate her. Like, I was just gonna be like, all right, we're gonna be buddies. Like, I'm gonna look after you the way potentially Liam looked after Violet, or the way Zayden looked after Violet, etc.
What did you think of Violet keeping the letters that Liam was writing to Sloane?
I didn't expect her to use it as fucking blackmail.
Love rude.
But I love extortion. It's becoming my favorite.
I was like, yes, bitch.
Yeah, she grew a bit of a backbone. I think in the first book episode, I feel like I didn't really care about Liam and Violet's like friendship. But that's just me. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I think, of course, she would do anything to preserve his life and his words, and because I think it could also have been a thing where she probably never got Brennan's things when he quote-unquote died. So maybe...
Yeah, you have to burn everyone's property.
Yeah, so as a younger sibling, she probably knows that loss, and she wouldn't want that for Sloane. But then, but then she never gave it to her until she started threatening, being like, you are going to work your ass off, and then I'll give you a letter.
You don't have to train with me, but you will show up, and you will train, and you will survive.
Here's my thing really quickly. This is also happening through our guild in the sense that our main character wants to help people, but then that person does not want their help or reciprocate that kind of relationship, and I'm getting annoyed at the stubbornness of the, like, I want to help you, let me help you. No, I hate you because I think you're the reason my brother is dead. Therefore, I resent you, and I don't want your help. But then, yeah, Violet is just keep going at it. But I suppose because she made a promise, and this is the moral qualms. Yeah. It's complicated.
Also...
But I loved it, though.
How did she know what really happened?
Sloane. Okay.
Exactly. Plot hole
Go on. Oh, plot hole. We're combing through...
2, I know that you just said that you didn't really care for Liam and Violet's friendship or whatever in the first book. However, no spoilers for you. But I do think that their friendship was highlighted for a specific reason.
They're gonna be lovers.
Ghost lovers.
At the end of the day.
My ultimate
Spectrophilia.
my ultimate fantasy. Anyway.
For other reasons. Well, I think just because I'm sure she could have heard through other people, whatever, about the Fourth Wing squadron in the first book, and like probably rumors may have speculated.
Well, I know, like, actually, I worded that wrong. She doesn't know what really happened because they don't know. However, she knows that Liam died to save Violet.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. So she just knows he died, unfortunately, but there's no reason for her to pin it on Violet. Interesting. I don't know.
Let's talk about the, quote, recovered correspondence, unquote.
I know that through TikTok and
yeah, because it made me
lose
my fucking mind about it's recovered correspondence.
Also, because of the first book, I'm paying a lot more attention to the little excerpts on top from like other correspondence or other general journals or books or scribes or whoever else it may be. Even like our professor characters as well, like a couple from them that pop up.
On that recovered correspondence, would it have killed Rebecca to give us one letter? like a proper letter, yeah. Not just snippets. But then I guess if we're going along with this theme of it's a recovered correspondence, then, maybe it was like partly destroyed or something like.
Yeah, partially compromised in a way. Yeah, I don't know. You forget that this whole story, is written in or around Jazina's interpretation of things, and because we learn how dedicated she is in becoming a scribe, and she's becoming specifically or specializing in being an adept scribe, whatever the fuck that means. So Yeah, very interesting. And yeah, people I got a lot of freakouts assuming that they're going to die. Well, in their eventual life cycle, they're going to die. Like, it may not happen throughout the books, but when they're old and frail and whatever. Or maybe they're just like, yeah, artifacts that's been found of all these war sites that I'm going to assume is going to happen.
But then also, let's remember at the start, that's like, the names have been preserved to, like, honour them. May, like, Malik condemn their soul, like, may their souls be condemned to Malik. So, like, they're dead.
This whole little moment in history for this world is just going to be another, like, journal entry or, like, another history
They're
book.
dead, but we ain't there yet, so it's fine.
No, hell no. No, but I like that.
Alright, let's talk about Nolan.
Okay, the asshole. The traitor. Cue Olivia Rodrigo.
Obviously, something was going on when he's looking like a ghost, essentially, walking around frail, and then all this stuff about saving a soul comes with a price, blah, blah, blah. So, I assumed that it was something to do with Venom. Like, they figured out a way to, like, bring a Venom back or whatever, or something. Did you think it was going to be Jack? Because there's so many people that are like, I knew that it was going to be Jack. I knew Jack was going to come back. And then, theoretically, I guess, no body, no crime. Like, we didn't actually see his body, so...
Well, since we've learnt that, like, Varish, I think that's how you're going to pronounce his name, and all the other professors have dabbled in, like, the new technology of, say, like, potion suppressants or dragon connection suppressants, that type of thing. I thought it was going to be along those lines, like they're just creating more of these funny little potions for perhaps school reasons, but then obviously later used.
I feel like that's a war crime.
I would say, I would say so. I wasn't expecting him to bring somebody back. Because, yeah, it was overtly emphasized that, like, Jack, had a mountain dropped on him, that type of thing. Yeah, remind me, when did Jack die?
During Threshing, I think. No, because he got a dragon. It was...
No, yeah.
War Games?
It must have been, like, Squad War Games or something. But then there were elsewhere for War Games.
I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I don't quite remember when, but yeah, no, interesting that they managed to find him.
Yeah.
Unless the dragon led him there. Or maybe when Dane sussed out Violet's memories, perhaps. But yeah, I don't know, it's just, there was constant emphasis of, like, when Jack died, who fell off a mountain fell on him, like, how is this all possible? So, yeah, wow. So, yeah, what does this mean for, like, mender capabilities? Do you want to clarify what you said to me about you assuming Brennan was a healer when he is a mender / rider?
They said he was a mender. Also, it just went straight over my fucking head because, like, in the 8th chapter, it says that Brennan is a rider from Fourth Wing. I know, but yeah, because I talk about him being a mender, I thought he was a healer.
You just assumed healer.
And then, so in this book, when he's in, like, Rider Blacks, and he's, like, a general or a lieutenant or whatever, I was like, I'm confused, because I just kept imagining him in, like, robes. And then, also, on top of that, I was like, okay, well, now he's hot.
Okay, he's completely flipped the switch.
And I saw a really funny comment. It's like people, and there's like the AI art and stuff, and everyone's like, oh my god, like this is exactly what I imagined this person looking like, whatever. And I saw a comment. It was like, hey, when I think about them, I just see a blurry face and vibes.
Yeah, blurry face and vibes. I love that. Yeah, understandable. Because we were talking about it at coffee the other day, and it's like, well, now it makes sense because all Sorrengails are inherently riders. So yeah, I think I had that sort of assumption as well. Like in that moment, you just because that was his signet. He could mend / heal whatever. So you just assume. Reread the first book, I suppose. Moral of the story. I wish I did.
I'm picking up on so much more stuff. Can't tell you though.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. You're in the process of, I guess, rereading the first book after you've completed the second book. Pretty gnarly way to go about it, but you do you. So yeah, Nolan. So what does this mean for Menders? Surely it has to come up again, because the way the first part ended with Varish, good night, perhaps Nolan might be persuaded to bring him back to life properly again as well. Probably not as a tedious attempt because he's not crushed by a mountain. He was just stabbed.
Oh, I think he was pretty well shish kebabbed.
If the crushing of a mountain, if Nolan can fix Jack Barlow with his bones...
But again, there was no body, no crime. So, like, did he actually get crushed by the mountain?
Alright, whatever.
Okay, let's talk about Bodhi really quickly.
Okay, I don't care
exactly.
about Bodhi.
And he became a very, like, important character, and I was like, why? That's all.
He was a sort of messenger boy in a way between Xaden and Violet, or he's more so reminding Violet not to do anything stupid or to like not take as many risks in any sort of research. But of course Violet is ignoring him because it's Bodhi and she doesn't.
If anyone ever told, like, you stumble upon a revolution, you find out your brother is alive, you find out that your boyfriend, mate, lover is essentially leading this revolution, and
Yes.
among other things, I don't know what you know. Do you know his official title in...
No, I just know that he's a part of the
Okay,
assembly.
cool.
The
Okay.
Revolution Assembly.
Okay, never
That's
mind.
all. Alright, Kenzie, shut the fuck up. Don't do this to me.
Sorry. Sorry, so sorry. Anyway, you find out that he's leading this revolution, and then they say, hey, go back to school, don't say anything, don't help. You know, the first thing I'm doing is I'm trying to find a way to help.
Yeah, for sure. And that's obviously the route that Violet takes. Like, she immediately is like, alright, well, if I can't help them physically, I'm gonna start doing some research and recon work. And she's working on the wards, which is very fucking productive, and I'm very happy for her. And then it's just all the lying and secrecy around her friends, and her avoiding everybody, her avoiding Dane.
Oh my god, I
one.
loved just how outwardly she's like, don't fucking touch me. Like, do not touch me. Yeah.
Out loud, like, yeah.
And then I loved
Great.
when
I loved it.
Professor Emeterio, I think, or whatever, like, she was injured on the mat or something. Yeah, and Dane,
Maybe,
went to help her. And she's like, don't fucking touch me. And then Emeterio came over and was like, can I touch you? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, Emeterio.
But it's also like just a slap in the face to Dane. You described to me, because we were talking about it again at coffee and I hadn't made as much progress. You described to me that the first half of this book is very a la Harry Potter, Professor Umbridge vibes. And yeah, as soon as you said that to me, I could not stop thinking about it every time I saw Varish, Commander Varish, or whoever the fuck his title is. It's like, oh, yeah,
I kept saying commandant, and then the audiobook says commandant. And then that just reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean, so... Okay, just call him Varish. Ah, my elbow! Sorry.
That sounded like it hurt.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, just Varish. He is being brought in by Colonel Atos, which is obviously Dane's father, because apparently Basgiath, sorry. I don't know.
Do not butcher my native language.
You've been Scottish for 5 minutes, Kenzie. Fucking settle down. Yeah, it turns out Basgiath is getting a little soft, and they need a bit more of an edge in their students, in their writers, in every aspect of this college life. And so Varish is appointed, and he is known for being very torturous and very violent in that sense.
Yeah, for example, on conscription day, his dragon came in and scorched a bunch of people, and scorched people, riders, that were bonded with dragons. So, instead of just, like, loser, scaredy cat first years...
Yeah, he's taken out full-on bonded riders and qualified cadets, etc. Is that not treason?
I'm surprised, yeah, someone should have called him... And I think someone at one point was like, you killed bonded riders.
Yeah. I think it was Professor Grady or something.
Yeah, but then also nothing really came from that.
No. I love towards the end of part 1, though, that a couple of the professors were catching on to Varish's bullshit and how he was strictly targeting Violet, which was great. But I also loved the tussle of Varish, or even Colonel Atos, or any of the, I suppose, evil professors or whatever. They can't outwardly accuse Violet of things.
Yeah.
Without exposing
themselves.
That they know what's going on. And, like, yeah, Violet obviously can't do the same thing either. Like, I love that tussle and the towing the line in that aspect. And then I just loved seeing Varish be humbled, whether it be through Professor Grady or Turn, whoever himself threatening Solus, his dragon. But it goes to show how fucked up his dragon Solus is for bonding with him anyway.
Yeah.
Because obviously... dragons are attracted to certain traits and capabilities of a rider. So what does Solus
But I guess, I don't know, like because I imagine him as like a middle-aged man or whatever. But so I'm assuming that when he was a cadet, I'm sure he would have just been ambitious. And then so I guess that he's just corrupted his dragon over time or whatever.
Sure. And obviously Ten has had a run-in with Solus before because it is implied that took his eye. Yep. And yeah, I loved Ten just like ripping into Solus's throat and just threatening Varish and being like... only riders can be vice commandments or whatever, and it's just like, oh, he shot himself. It was great. But then, yeah, I think, Professor Grady was like, I think you are abusing your power, straight up. And then Varys is like, hold on, well, because they're all still for the Codex and live by the Codex.
I really liked / hated when Varys punished Violet. I don't know what the fuck she did. Oh, because Andana isn't showing up because she's in the dream sleep. She's in the deep sleep.
Another fucking stasis sleep situation. I'm getting sick of this.
Yes. And she gets punished and nearly is pushed to burnout because Varys is like, show your power, blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards she's just like, I want Xaden.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just so sad. Yeah. We'll talk about their relationship a little later. Maybe this is probably just me, but what I found, like, I did enjoy reading Violet's life as a second year. But then a lot of it...
influence of Xaden?
Not without the influence of Xaden, just, like, going through life, and then, I suppose going back to what we were talking about before about them watching the first years, it just seemed obviously all too familiar because we'd just had a book about Violet going through this whole process. And it seemed like it just... a little bit repetitive in the sense that she is still being, like, targeted and assassinated attempts, even though this is now for a different reason. But it just seems like it's, I don't know, just a bit repetitive in that sense as well. And obviously Imogen and the rest of the crew are also being targeted assassination-wise because of what happened at War Games.
What about Nadine just being straight up?
That was funny. I wasn't expecting, funny, I don't know why I said that. That was just like a response. No, that was, I had to reread that a few times.
Same, because I was so confused. I was like, which one had their neck broken? I was like, what?
Yeah, because she was being a smartass, and she's like, I'm Violet, you see the purple hair, and then good night. Jesus. Yeah. I don't know, it just felt kind of repetitive of the first book, and I thought being second years, they're a little bit more safe, but obviously, with the context of the war game situation and Colonel Atos trying to off them because secrets die with the people who keep them. I love that motif in recurring dialogue. And like we didn't hear any of the other first years getting assassinated or like anyone being really pushed off, except one first year got pushed off the parapet deliberately, etc. But like we don't see, I suppose because we're not meant to be paying attention to what the first years are doing either, but it would have been nice if there was more of that grit.
Speaking of first years, what do you think of Eric?
I got so confused when he was first introduced because obviously Violet recognizes him and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you are. And then it's just the relationship between the royals and obviously like your leading commander of the fucking War College and being a dragon rider. Yeah, I was confused. Obviously this relationship or their past relationship is new to me and us and I don't care for it. But I know it's going to come up because he's obviously a rebel and he hates his father for whatever reason. I'm chill with it for now. He hasn't betrayed our girl yet. Don't do that, Kenzie. What do you think?
I think he's important, and I have just had something click in my brain. So.
Oh, okay. Oh no, she's figuring things out.
I'm just realising things.
Stay tuned for part 2 when she tells me what's going on. Yeah, obviously he's important because he was needed for the archive vault heist. I love me a heist. It was fantastic.
The wards that only a royal could get through. How interesting that he was able to drag Violet through.
Shut up. It was because he allowed her to, right? I hate this. Kenzie does this to me in Messenger. Like, I'll message stuff just to be a smartass, and then she'll respond either like the sneaky eye emojis, or she'll try and derail me off my train of thought, which is fine, because to be fair, I shouldn't be telling you what I'm thinking. I should be saving it for the potty. But I can't help myself. I need you to know where I'm up to and what I'm feeling at all times when I'm reading these books.
Good. Let's talk about Andana.
Oh, yes, Andana. Yes. It's funny how we've turned... I want to try and articulate this kind of ish well. You know how we're sick of, like, powerful main characters losing their powers and magic? Why are we doing this to the fucking dragon? She has the most OP power ever, and now it's presumably gone because she used it at a big moment and it's drained her. What the fuck? What are you going to say, Kenzie?
Nothing.
At this stage, she is still haphazardly asleep.
I think...
Well, they're going to Artia.
She can't rewind time anymore.
I never said rewind.
However,
stop
time. Same thing.
Did you just reveal something to me?
No, I didn't. Okay, so she can't stop time anymore.
I don't believe you.
No. However, I think that her power has evolved.
Okay. As she is growing up. Because she is aging at an exponential rate.
That Andana is a metaphor reflection of Violet's growth.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can't tell you what.
No. Make sure you underline that note in your notebook so you don't forget to tell me
I will
in part 2.
underline.
Remind me, she is losing her gold and she's becoming black, or she is a black scaled dragon now. I forget.
Black.
Kenzie, don't do this to me. I'm being serious. Like, if I'm reading this right, is she losing her gold, or is she just becoming a lot more black and bigger?
She's
Black-scaled.
becoming a different colour.
Yeah, that's okay. Because we know this. Because it's obvious.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason why they're hiding her, is because she has subsequently changed colours, and no one needs to know to keep her safe, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, she's just in a stasis, a deep sleep, a dreamless sleep, and she is sleeping for far too long. Yeah, she's like, what's going on, guys? Bam, good night. The Emperine are very much concerned. Well, I don't know if they're concerned, but they've
just never seen it before.
Obviously that would speak highly of Endana as a powerful dragon in the future. I love the joke that Violet made to Tarn. She was like, are you sure she's not yours?
Yeah.
He's like, yes.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Xaden ask the right questions, Ryerson.
Ryerson.
It should be Ryerson. And I'll take that to my grave. Anyway, if it was Ryerson, it would have a Y. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah.
I just hate... Okay, there's 3 more books, at least. Maybe a novella. I just hate this, like, you're in love, you go to battle, you overcome this big battle. Oh no, he lied to you about this. In the grand scheme of things, insignificant thing.
Sure. Okay. We can argue about the word insignificant, but...
And now you're like, I want him to fuck me, but I don't love him, but I do love him, but I want you... No, I don't want you. I don't trust him, and it's like...
Was it just like an unnecessary angst that didn't need to be there?
Mm-hmm.
There could have been more yearning as opposed to angst, and
I felt like it should have been more, yeah, I don't trust him, he needs to earn my trust back, instead of anger.
I think she had every right to be angry, but it seemed to be very kind of inconsistent because she is battling because of the fact that she does, like, even though she didn't say it towards the end and all that of part 1, that she loves him, or when he was like wounded or presumed to be wounded in that Zolia battle or whatever.
Let's talk about that and how sneaky that professor was.
Professor Devra? Devra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew she was going to be on our side.
Rubbing her neck, like...
Yeah. I knew she knew something. Yeah, I just knew she was going to be on our side. I just had that feeling. Because who was it, Markham? He was very quick to dismiss, obviously, the details of the pamphlet or discredit it, blah, blah, blah. But also, Violet... awesome in sharing with her squad mates of Markham's his tells and like anticipating how he is going to divert the situation and discredit the pamphlet and stuff.
I also really liked that Violet got to spend more time with her sister.
A little bit more time, but yeah, it was nice.
Also, my favourite scene was when she gets there and what's his name, Xaden, was like, ask me to kiss you, otherwise you're not going to be in my room. Like, he loves her so much.
Swooning, kicking feet, giggling, whatever.
Shall we talk about
We're really flying through this. I feel like we just skipped over the love angst, the Xaden Violet.
I don't care for it.
Angst.
I don't care for it. Alright?
You don't care for it?
It's not an integral part of the plot.
It was just annoying back and forth.
No, just wait. Who do you know?
What do you mean?
Do you know Catriona?
Her name has been brought up, yes. Because she is Serena's... I don't know, sister or cousin or someone related to the Griffin Rider, who is Xaden's confirmed ex.
Yeah. Wait till you spend some time with her.
Kids, you know. How do you feel? Quick thoughts, feeling and emotions.
Ill.
Ill?
Ill.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a very unexpected response.
Okay, let's talk about the torture.
The torture, okay. The torture scene.
The interrogation, the torture.
Where she is seeing Liam, is that the one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we love that. Don't look at me like that, Kenzie. I'm sure it's going to happen again. This is not the first time. She is going to perhaps hallucinate, dream, project, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Hallucinate. Interesting.
Hallucinate. That's why I've given so many words, because I know you're going to do this to me.
How she described it?
Described how she... What? Shut up, Kenzie. Now you're interrogating me. Fuck off. Yeah, very interesting. Obviously, there was always going to be a big Varish v Violet moment. Didn't expect Violet to be so incapacitated, but I suppose that's all Varys can really do. Otherwise, Tan is just gonna fucking kill Solus, which in turn would kill Varys. So he's trying to gain all these upper hands. He has his fancy fucking suppressants, his drinks, his potions, whatever the hell you want to call them. And then he has Nolan mending her and then breaking her again. Like, what does he have on Nolan, is my question.
Yeah.
Do we find out?
No, and it doesn't matter now because Varys is dead.
I mean, yeah, true.
I was very worried that it was like big old trap for Xaden.
Oh, yeah, because Violet did surmise that, yes.
And I was a bit worried that some bad things were going to happen. But then goes Xaden, he's like, first of all, don't fuck with my lady.
Love that.
Second of all, because you fucked with my lady, I'm going to fuck with your entire lie and fabrication that you've weaved. And so he drops women bodies.
Yeah, all across the borders.
All across the borders, yeah.
Yeah, he orchestrated treasonous activity.
Let's talk about Dane in the interrogation scene.
Oh, yes.
Were you worried?
I was very worried.
I was so
like,
scared.
Dane.
I was like, Dane, don't do it. Don't do it, Dane.
I mean, to be fair, he had every right to be the bad guy or be on Varys' side, because obviously throughout the first half, Varys was in Dane's ear being like, you know, why would Violet choose Xaden, or what does she see in Xaden and not you, and like, girl you've fallen in love with type of thing. He's really in Dane's ear trying to manipulate and or persuade him. Yeah, incredibly worried. And obviously Violet has been detached from him most of the second year, other than their little run-ins and him challenging her to fight, blah, blah, blah.
I do really think that she went very hard against him. Because, I mean, he did, yeah, it was an invasion. But I think that he didn't mean to get all that information from first year. Like, his dad was just asking him to, like, confirm stuff.
Remind me, like, what information did he acquire? Because it keeps being brought up in a way, but it's also vague, and I don't want to have to reread the first book to find out.
I'm currently rereading the first book, so I can give you a refresher as well. But I think it was just about Xaden smuggling. It wasn't about war games. I think it was like that. It was I think it was confirming that Xaden was like smuggling stuff out, and yeah, and he was still like the rebels were still rebelling.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, and like meeting up and all that type of stuff.
And then Dane knew that his dad had something planned for war games. Yeah, so that's why Xaden says Atherbine.
Yeah. And that's the significant basis of Violet's hatred towards Dane.
Yeah, because she assumes, because she tells him, you said you'll miss me.
Yep.
That was hard to get out. And then Dane's like, because you chose him, not that I was sending you off to your death.
Yeah.
But, so I was like, dude, you should have explained that. Like, take 2 seconds to fully explain what you mean.
And then obviously, because Violet assumed Dane knew about that, which in turn gets Liam killed, and we know how much she loved Liam, and so then she resents obviously Dane for that. Okay, cool. I feel adequately refreshed in that sense. Love that.
So yeah, I was a little bit worried about Dan, because then I thought, although, you know, it was very harsh, the complete, I guess, shutting out of him.
But she can't trust him because he's a mind reader.
She can't trust him. But also, I think he should have been given the chance to explain or something.
Yeah, sure. Does that happen later on? Or you still feel that, okay, if he does get a chance to explain, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, I did like when Xaden does show up, and then he's like, are you turning traitor?
Yeah.
And then Garrick is like, oh, is that what's happening here? And Dane's like, guess so.
So do you care about Garrick the same way you care about Bodhi? Like, you just don't give a shit about them? They're just there?
I care about Sawyer, though.
I don't care about Sawyer. I don't care about half this fucking squad. I don't know. I just don't. Quinn? You can fuck her off. I don't fucking care.
But I liked how Sawyer and Violet and Rhiannon...
I think it's Riddick more so than Sawyer.
And Riddick, okay. I like, we're in this to the end. Like, we graduate together.
The awesome foursome, or fivesome, whatever it is. Yeah. It's the core four.
Yeah.
Core four. They're going to survive, hopefully. Or there may be, in other books, maybe one of them will make a noble sacrifice. But yeah, Dane, very worried. He played it very well when Varys, again, was trying to convince him that Violet, or trying to feed the story that Violet is smuggling weapons to use against Basgiath. And their revolution had been twisted for Dane to obviously see her as an enemy. And then he obviously... Because then he was following orders. Like, he was, you know, delving into the memories, and she managed to manipulate her memories to show him what actually went on. And then when it was revealed that Dane is, like, not following kind of what Violet was pushing towards him, I got really scared.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, he really does not give a fuck. And then he obviously, stabs him, going for Violet, but then
I was like,
turn around.
okay, the double cross.
But yeah, good to know that Dane is on our side. Well, he'll definitely on our side because he kind of can't just go back. Otherwise, as we just said, you can't like double cross and then double cross again. Alright, I'm gonna follow your lead. Let's talk about Jack real quick. I know we talked about him coming back to life.
I don't care. Don't believe this redemption.
Do you believe this is the redemption though?
No.
Like, no, I meant like his character coming back. Do you think?
No, I didn't believe anything for a second.
Oh yeah, cool. Because I think, I don't know. No, you said to me that there's a character who is having a redemption-esque arc, and I wondered if that was actually him. Oh, it was Dane. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird with Jack because he does save Violet from an assassination attempt, and then he's like, we're even now, which I don't buy because one, he's been out to get her since the first book, and then she rightfully killed him because he was out to get her, and then now he saved her life. He's like, all right, we're even now.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't believe that.
She killed you.
Yes, you should be dead. I wonder, hear me out.
Okay, you go first.
If Jack, because Nolan has exerted so much magic into Jack, does, I don't know, Jack's health relate to Nolan in a way? Like, no? Alright, sorry, I was trying to, alright. Nolan's not important, Jack's not important, of course that's not going to happen.
I do think the we're even now is a play on words. With a bit of foreshadowing.
Oh my god. I just hope Violet kills him again, or someone kills him again. That'd be so funny. Wait, so does that mean he's not bonded with his dragon anymore?
No, he still is.
So how does that work? What the fuck? It's like the bond has been severed for yay long. Now he's back. Oh, right, reconnect.
At the end of the day,
I mean, I suppose why get into the technicalities of things? I don't care. I enjoy the first half already. I love the amount of action. I was surprised there was not a lot of magic or signet wielding. But I suppose there's no reason to if they're just overseeing the first years and they're not in any sort of battle aspects right now. But they did obviously all coordinate and worked well as a team together during the archive heist. Showed off a lot of everyone's signets as well, which is really cool.
And how, they all work. And Rhiannon, her signet becoming more powerful because she was able to bring the stuff through walls with a dagger.
Yeah, no, that was so cool.
Also, I hated that Varys searched Violet every time she left, or whatever. And it's like, that's so sus on their part, because it's like, why would you need to search her if you weren't searching for anything in particular? And it's like, if anyone else sees you doing this, then they're going to be like, what the fuck? Because I think, Dane at one point was like, is this normal? And Violet's like, they do it every time. But then Tan's like, lucky they didn't check my saddle.
No. Yeah, again, it's that power play espionage almost of they can't reveal what they know, or they can't accuse Violet of what they think she's done, because then, they're just as complicit in the other direction. I loved that Dane's rule following actually came in handy. Mm-hmm. And it's not like used against Violet, it's used in a way to protect her as well. Because in the interrogation exercise assessment or whatever, like he's like, she is not healthy, I am not going to do this, and then he just walked out, and it's great. Although I'm a bit annoyed that we didn't get to see much of, like, Colonel Atos and his dealings.
I just realised something. Sorry, my brain just made a connection. Sorry.
You're welcome. Do we have to find out next time? Yeah, I thought I suppose there's another part. I keep thinking this is, like, the end of a book, but I know it's not the case. End of part 1, obviously we haven't seen much of Colonel Atos, even though he was quite significant once Violet and that came back, because they were pretty much, not on like a formal trial, but they're being questioned as to what happened at War Games, blah, 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 and all their little mistruths and half-lies and stuff, and he was getting very embarrassed because his accusations were unwarranted, etc., etc., and then he's just been quiet ever since. But obviously he's obviously going to play a bigger part in part 2, but because we're so used to talking about fully finished books, like, I'm now forgetting that there's a whole other part to go, and everything is going to tie in together one way or another. How do we feel about Justinia?
I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
she's risking a lot.
She's risking a lot. Obviously, she survives. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be a slow play.
I loved that everyone just knows how to sign as well.
Yeah, I know,
you make the assumption that like Xaden doesn't know, but then he does, or Imogen didn't know and she does.
Good rep.
It's just great. Yeah, good rep. Oh, also noticed that there's not a lot of emphasis on Violet's health condition
anymore,
because it's already been pre-established. Though it does come up, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I've binded my wrists or my ankles, or I haven't binded this."
Oh, then like nothing happens.
All right, whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like that, yeah, because it's all established in the first book and it doesn't need to be overly emphasized again. I enjoyed that. And same with the whole, like, signing to Jacinia as well. It's just a norm. I loved it. I love her. She's a great friend to Violet. Out of everyone, yeah, I feel like trusts Jacinia the most, but of course she's in such a precarious spot being a scribe and have much more stricter protocols to follow. I was just going to say, even though it is only, I need to remind myself, it's only part 1, there are aspects of either the interrogation or just through Varish or other sort of side characters that they keep bringing up Violet's fragility. It's like, she's second year now, she's pretty much overcome. What the fuck? Your lights are moving? Is there a fan behind you?
I know they're moving, I can see it.
I just got a little bit annoyed at again, Violet's whole fragility, and she's like a weak rider used against her, despite having one of the most powerful bonded dragons and them undermining her worthiness, etc., etc.
Even, yeah, from the first one, like when Tan first bonds or whatever, and Violet's like, I'm weak, like whatever, and he's like, I know exactly what and who you are. So it's that should be proof enough that I don't like that either.
I think it was just also Varish just being a cocky cunt, and then all these little side characters, his minions, are all doing the same thing. Understandable in the interrogation exercise because your enemy is going to be assholes to you anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it being brought up again, I was like, I'm sure we're past this by now. Or like, we get it. I loved early on that theory in regards to Violet's mother has been kind of quelled. Now, after the first book, everyone made the assumption or came to the conclusion
that she was trying to get her killed.
Violet's mother, her name's Lilith, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Lilith was controlling the storm on the parapet. That was a theory, trying to kill off Violet because she is weak, whatever. But no, Violet has since confirmed that her mother wouldn't kill her off on the parapet because that would be cowardice, or a real cowardice attempt. But of course she would not hold off on the storm either. So that kind of shuts that theory down, which I was glad, because like I didn't want to believe that Lilith truly doesn't care about her. I just find it hard to believe that she truly doesn't care about her daughter at the end of the day. Yeah, despite being a top general, having one of the most powerful signets, like, there's always going to be a spot for keeping her daughter safe. And of course that is revealed later on, or towards the end of part 1 anyway, because she is helping Violet escape, or helping the rebels, I guess now we can call them, escape. And it was revealed that she actually has an agreement, or had an agreement with Xaden, essentially to look after her through first year, and to make sure she survives, not necessarily look after. So I suppose the main juice of part 1 is them trying to find these journals, or they've surmised that these journals hold the key to these wards, because Artia, run by the rebellion, need wards in order to survive the oncoming Venin attacks. Whatever.
Yeah, so
they're
slowly
slowly
figure out how to, because they have a ward stone, but they need to figure out how to activate it, if you will.
Yeah, and it gets, I don't know how I feel about it getting too technical, because like they need an alloy. Yeah. The alloy is then made up of ores or luminary, whatever the fuck that is. And then they need dragon shell eggs because it holds like residual magic or raw magic. It's like, did we really need to get all too technical around here? But then the alloys are the ones that are on the daggers, the special Venin daggers as well, isn't it? And then the daggers also was able to bypass the locked ward. So now I'm like even more confused.
You'll find out why.
Everything is connected. All magic. I suppose if it's connected by the dragons as well. I don't know. Despite that, I still think it's a fucking dope magic system. Now that we've learnt that, like, dragon, eggshells hold magic and stuff, even after the dragon's born, is pretty cool.
Except that, like, I feel like dragons aren't hatched very often.
No. I was just going to say, then we get the interesting diplomatic, like, motivations from the Emperine dragons. Like, they're very passively impassive. They kind of don't care what's going on.
Okay, this is one thing that I didn't really enjoy, sorry. How they're like, the Empyrean don't get involved in, like, the humans or whatever. But it's like, okay, but if the humans all die, then you serve no purpose.
Or they'll just serve themselves. They don't serve humans, though. They're not there to serve humans. They could probably live without humans and be fine. In fact, if humans are gone, they would be thriving. They wouldn't need reason to protect the Veil and all the hatchlings and all that stuff and all that magic. I'm just confused about this revolution in general. Because obviously the Venom are trying to take over the world, whatever that means. Or they're trying to get to the Veil because it holds a lot of raw magic that they're able to suck out of and hold on for centuries or whatever the fuck the history is. Shouldn't that be just like a thing that everyone wants to protect? Like everyone should just get on board and be like, all right, let's stop this Venom.
People at Basgiath and the Navarians are in it for themselves.
For sure, yeah. Okay, maybe I just needed that clarity, to be honest, because I'm just like, what the fuck? We're all in this together, High School Musical style. And I suppose since the unification and all that stuff, and like we learned throughout the history that through unification and stuff, there are specific places that, you know, lose their culture, lose their folklore and stuff. And so is Navarre really even unified in a sense?
Well, no, because, yeah.
But now I'm scared, okay? Because and I blame the Hunger Games for this. So we have a revolution who wants to override the old leadership because the old leadership isn't doing anything particularly productive, or they're not trying to protect the folks, whatever. But now I'm scared if the revolution overrides, whether it be Navarre, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why, whatever. Or everywhere else. I'm just scared there's going to be a President Coin Katniss situation where Violet is going to kill Brennan because he's getting power hungry.
Oh my god. Maybe.
Or she's going to do something drastic. But ultimately, from this point forward, I think we're definitely going to be branching out over the world landscape of this continent or countries or whatever the heck we're going to call them. We're probably going to see more... Again, for a second, I'm still thinking this is the end of a book when it's not. Not necessarily in part 2, but obviously in later books, we're probably going to see more maybe frontline activities leading forward and all that type of good stuff. Probably going to encounter more Venom. Obviously going to learn more about Venom and the Sage and all that sort of shit. Oh yeah, and Violet has nightmares. We love that recurring theme. Because you brought that up as I was reading. You're like, has Violet had any nightmares? And then, yeah, she had a very specific nightmare where she was running away from a Venom, and the Venom's like, every time you run away, but you're going to face me, you know, sooner or later, blah, 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 blah. Interesting. But yeah, I suppose moving forward, even beyond part 2, book 3, book 4, whatever, yeah, gonna learn more about the continent as a whole and all the other different kingdoms and all the other political aspects. Because we don't know what everyone else believes or what every other sort of kingdom or royalty or armies know, or other aspects of like the Griffin schools and all that, and riders and drifts and like what they know and what they do.
I do like how like the groups of Griffins and Griffin Riders are adrift, and then the Dragon and Dragon Riders are riots. I was like, oh, yeah, they have different names.
Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, a different flock name. I love it. Because there was an excerpt that was giving us a bit more information about like the Griffin Riders and like the Griffin Rider equivalent college, and how Griffin Riders don't necessarily have signet level magic, but they do prevail in like lesser magic works and stuff like that,
yeah,
which is
really
really
channel
cool.
lesser magics.
So like really like in terms of species and livelihoods, the dragon and the dragon riders are quite similar to like Griffin and Griffin Riders. Although in terms of bestial forms, I think obviously the dragons are far superior in that aspect. It's the wyverns you got to worry about. Or wyverns, however you want to say that.
I say wyvern now. I've been turned.
But no, part 2. Looking forward to everything else moving ahead. Looking forward to shit hitting the fan. Hopefully someone dies. I don't know, we love a death around here. But then are they going to stay dead? Because we don't know. Because if Jack can come back to life, who knows what Brennan could be capable of. And then what other secrets are people keeping? Don't know. And then what does Violet's mother know? Because she's obviously has some awareness of what's going on. And like, what role is she going to play in part 2? I don't know.
So obviously we can't go to the stars.
No stars because it would
Spoilies.
be super spoily.
Yeah.
How about if you have a 1-star aspect of part 1, what would it be? In part 1, what would make you 1 star? If anything.
Nothing.
It's a perfect part 1. Alright, what would your 5-star be?
Screaming, crying, throwing up. Rolling on the floor.
I suppose this is it for part 1, because I finished part 1 day of recording. I genuinely, I feel like I didn't have much time to process, but like I put it on myself. I asked, do we want to record tonight? And he said yes. So partly my own fault. I don't know.
I feel like I should have done that because I feel like I can't remember, even though it was like 2 days ago. But
you smashed it out. I love seeing jokes on TikTok. There's this one chick, I don't know if I sent it to you. She's like, how are y'all reading this in a day?
Yeah.
So we got some skimmers amongst
yeah.
us. It's just
But it's like
yes.
also people took if you went to the midnight release, and then people took the day off for work, like
yeah.
Yeah.
People just get super excited, and that's fine. And it was just funny how,
Yeah.
because it's 600 odd fucking pages. It's a monster.
Yeah.
It's a big boy book.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I read part 1 in one sitting, which was like 3 hours. And then, yeah, I read part 2 over like 2 sittings.
And then, the comments were like, I have this like ADHD or something, and like I can hyper focus and smash it out and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm weirdly taking my time, although now that a couple of potty episodes have kind of fallen through, like I can kind of relish it a little bit more, which is fine. But yeah, and by the time this is released, hopefully there's going to be more reviews, better reviews perhaps on the Goodreads that we can pluck. But yeah, looking forward to, TikTok is a dangerous place. Because, I don't know, ever since I saw one TikTok about, like, the first book, and I sent it to you, and then suddenly I'm getting Iron Flame.
Oh, and it's like I saved a couple of, like, Iron Flame ones, so now my entire FYP is Iron Flame. And it's like, yes, I get it, I enjoyed the book, I'm into this, but please, for the love of God, I do not need every video to be Iron Flame.
No, but it's also been good because it's only been 4 or 5 days. A lot of the beginning of TikTok is like, if you haven't finished it, you have 5 seconds to scroll, and I appreciate that. Not going to be the case for when I inevitably post our TikToks in December, but
That's enough time. A month is enough time.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm sure more criticisms are going to pop up between now and then as well also.
Thank you all for listening to part 1. We'll see you next week for part 2.
Yeah, and Kenzie is going to reveal all her thoughts to me.
Yes.
And all her connections.
I'll finally be able to say things out loud.
Check us out on the Instagram, or are we not going to do that yet? Just wait for part
Should we
2.
wait for part? I don't know. Okay, find us on Instagram at letterbox_book_club. There, our link tree is in our bio, where you can find us in all the places.
Yeah, catch up on some previous books that we've read or talked about. Catch up on Fourth Wing itself.
Yeah.
Refresh your memories. It's going to be great. I should have reread this book. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.